Hi and welcome on to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with all the players that have been linked with a summer transfer and move to Arsenal. And interesting today, Arsene Wenger, of course, game today, big match today, our opening game against West Ham. And Arsene Wenger inevitably asked about all the links that's been going around. I called it yesterday, the Benzi frenzy. Asked about the links to Karim Benzema. And some very interesting responses from Arsene Wenger today. Wenger coming out and saying, and these are his quotes, by the way, he said, "I've heard Thierry Henry say that if we buy Benzema, we would win the title by a margin." And he says, "I respect his views, but football has evolved and the game has changed since he played here. The out-and-out strikers are no longer there and tactics have changed. You do need somebody to score goals, and I think Olivier Giroud will not be far from 20 this season. Theo Walcott will be up there too. We have to develop our game and depend less on one player. I truly believe that we can win the league. We look like we can score plenty of goals." So Arsene Wenger there definitely kind of trying to downplay the whole Benzema link, saying that listen, Arsenal got loads of goals in them. You even forget Alexis Sanchez there. Look, listen, there is no doubt that Arsene Wenger is kind of right. You know, tactics have changed. There's not a lot. You look out there right now, there's a lot of out-and-out strikers out there. Hence the Benzema link, because he's like one of the only world-class strikers out there at the moment that may be available. And I think Wenger's trying to kind of downplay the whole thing. He's definitely interested in getting Karim Benzema. If Karim Benzema is a doable deal, Arsene Wenger will get it done. But I think he also realises that there's a good chance he might not get Benzema. The Real Madrid will just say, no way, we're not selling him. There's no suitable replacements for us to go out there and get. So I'm sorry. No, we're not going to let him go. And you know, if anything, he can come back next year. We might be interested then, but at the moment, we're not going to let him go. And Wenger's maybe preparing for life without Benzema, even though we've not got him yet, if you know what I mean. But certainly, Wenger kind of trying to convince us all that if we don't get Benzema, we've still got a lot of goals in the team. And we have got a lot of goals in the team. I think that is a reality. We do have a lot of goals in the team. But lots and lots of fans, just like myself, and I agree with Thierry Henry, that world-class striker would just be the icing on the cake. And we're also being told today that, listen, £45 million will get Benzema. If Arsenal are prepared to bid that sort of money, that is a sort of money that is going to turn the heads of Real Madrid. It's a lot of money. And there's been a lot of fans over the past couple of weeks saying to me, "Listen, Robbie, he's not worth that money." But we're being told that's the sort of money that you need to get him. We're also being told that the board at Arsenal are willing to sanction £45 million to get Benzema. Now, that's a lot of money. But listen, with the lack of real world-class strikers around, that's the sort of money you're going to have to pay. It's a bit like when you go to buy a house. If you want to buy a house in a particular area, there's very few houses available. Every time they come up, you're paying way over the odds. But if you want to live in that area, you've got to pay that money. It's as simple as that. And it's the same when it comes to these world-class players. You've got to pay over the odds to get them. And that's what we're going to have to do. And I think we need to learn from the whole Suarez situation. Remember when we just offered £1? Maybe if we would have went in bigger at the time, we might have got a player. Listen, we can't leave anything to chance. And we're being told today through various outlets that the board are willing to sanction £45 million, which would smash our transfer records, to get Karim Benzema. Let's wait and see if that happens. One player that we've spoken about the whole summer, another striker that's been linked. Some of us have been saying he'd be a good fit. Some of us have been saying he's not world class. He's not ready yet. well, he's definitely not coming yet, and that's Alexander Lacazette. Lacazette has signed a new deal with Lyon, a new 4-year deal. He come out yesterday and said, listen, I hope that now ends all speculation. I'm definitely staying. I've signed this new deal. I'm happy here. Lyon are in the Champions League. We're buying a new stadium, moving into a new stadium, and I'm happy to be playing here. And as I've sort of said all along, the thing with Lacazette is that he wants to get into that team next year for the Euros. And if he's playing regular football for Lyon in the Champions League and he's still scoring goals, he's definitely going to get into that team. And also, he'll definitely get a massive move still. He's still young. We know what contracts are like nowadays. You only have to look at Fabian Delps that he signed for Aston Villa a few months ago, and now he's at Man City. We know what contracts are like. If he puts in a great performance from now till the end of the season over there in France, he'll still get his big move, and Lyon will get a big money. So it works well for both of them. But he will not be coming to Arsenal. So that is another striking target gone, right? So forget him. It puts more pressure on Wenger to get Benzema, because if he can't get Benzema, who's it going to be? Even Wenger's there saying, you know, lack of world-class strikers. Who is it going to be? You sort of tend to think to yourself that if you can't get Benzema, it is going to be what we've got. And Wenger thinks that would be enough. Do you guys think that would be enough? Leave it in the comments below. Would Alexis Sanchez, Theo Walcott, Olivier Giroud and Danny Welbeck, is that enough goals in the team? Do we need an out-and-out striker like City have got Aguero, Man United have got Rooney, and even looking at Rooney, looking at Manchester United yesterday, just Rooney, if you look at our options, I'd say I'd rather have ours because there's more goals in our front line. They're relying very heavily on Rooney. They're hoping that Depay will bring in a lot of goals like what he did in the Dutch league. But we've got more established goal scorers in our team, you could say. But yes, City do have an out-and-out goal scorer in Aguero, and Chelsea have an out-and-out goal scorer as well in Costa. We don't have a striker on that level. So if we don't get Benzema, can we win the league? Let me know in the comments below. Link today as well. This is a real strange link. Link today with Lucas Silva, another Real Madrid player. We seem to be linked to all Real Madrid's players. Now, Lucas Silva, this one's very interesting. He only just signed for Real Madrid in January. He's a very, very talented player, defensive midfielder, 22 years of age. They bought him from Cruzeiro. He came in, the big fanfare, you know, going to be a next star, etc., etc. Hasn't really been able to break into the team yet. And AS, the media outlet over there in Spain, reporting today that because Real Madrid have to get rid of one non-EU player before the transfer window shuts, Lucas Silva could be on his way out. I find this one really strange because, as I said, they bought him from Cruzeiro. You know, he's one of the Brazilian player, really, really highly thought of. For them to just get rid of him without him really even playing for them is a bit strange. But linked with a move to Arsenal today, and of course we would all love to see a defensive midfielder come in. I've got to admit, I've never seen him play, but all the reports are that he's a top player. Real Madrid wouldn't have bought him if he wasn't a top player, and he is apparently they're willing to sell him. Have to wait and see what happens with that one, but listen, we still, I still think we could do with a defensive midfielder, but it does look to me like Arsene Wenger is going to settle on Arteta and Flamini as the backup. I've got to say congratulations, first of all, to Chuba Akpom, who scored for Hull City on his debut. Of course, he's on loan from Arsenal. Love to see that. That's great. That straight away he's hit the ground running. Of course, a striker. Wouldn't it be ironic? We send him out on loan, he scores like 20-odd goals. And we chasing Benzema and don't get him, say, for instance. But great start for Chuba Akpom. And also a very, very good start for another lonely player from Arsenal, John Torrell, who also scored on his debut for Birmingham City. So well done to those two, showing a great attitude. That's what you want to see when you've got players who go out on loan. Listen, I've said it a million times before. Loans can be good. Loans can be bad. Players can go out with a great attitude, with a hope of, you know, doing really well so that they can come back into that Arsenal team. Other players go out and sulk and it doesn't work out for them. But those two certainly have hit the ground running. Both of them on the score sheet straight away on their debuts. Well done to them, and we'll be watching them closely over the season. And back to today's game. Of course, we've got West Ham. Massive game, our opening game. We haven't done well over the past couple of seasons with our opening games. We just scraped it last year before we lost our opening game. With Chelsea slipping up yesterday. Listen, it's still early in the season, but, you know, it'd be great to get 3 points on the board against a team that we've traditionally done well against, which is West Ham. I want to know, really, who we're going to go with up front. Do we start with Theo Walcott or do we start with Olivier Giroud? We actually did a poll on our website yesterday, arsenalfantv.com, and we were asked, you guys, who should start tomorrow? Should it be Theo Walcott, who, of course, scored a hat-trick in his last Premier League game for Arsenal at the Emirates, his last Premier League home game? Or should we go with Olivier Giroud? He's got a great goal-scoring record against West Ham. He scored 5 goals in 5 games against them. In that poll, 43% of you said we should start with Theo Walcott, and 57% of you said we should go with Olivier Giroud. One of that 57% who voted was me, and I think we should go with Giroud. The reason why is that when somebody's got such a great goal-scoring record, you've got to start with him. You've got to start with him, and 5 in 5. I mean, he's got a West Ham number, so we've got to go, I think, with Olivier Giroud today. Let's get into your comments. Laurent Kamari, he says, hurry up, Arsene. I don't know why, but I have a bad feeling that Manchester United is going to sign Benzema. They will sell De Gea, and with the De Gea money, they will make a bigger bid for Benzema than Arsenal does. And certainly they looked to me yesterday like they could do with a striker as well. OG12 says, don't worry, Benzema is a gunner. Wenger's just wait until the end of the end of the transfer window to lower the transfer fee. So he's pretty confident it's going to happen. Let's see what else. Chris Walsh says, Wenger's poker face is back in action. And he's pretty confident. He says, Benzema would be great, but I won't hold my breath, to be quite honest. I think we have enough to push on this year. So any signings are a bonus. He said, and he also says it's a big year for Oxlade-Chamberlain, Theo, and Danny Welbeck. And I agree with that. In the B says, yes, we're going to get him. He's talking about Benzema. However, James Milton says, we ain't getting him. You know, I'm going to leave it there. I think those last two there sum it right up. We could get him. We could pull off a massive, massive deal for Benzema. But on the other hand, equally, we may not get him. It may not happen. And if it doesn't happen, I don't see who the other striker is we're going to be able to bring in. Aubameyang signed a new deal with Dortmund. That was one player that we were looking at. That's not going to happen. Lacazette now has signed a new deal. Lewandowski, I've said all along, there's no way I could see that happening. It would have to be a ridiculous. And then even then, Bayern Munich are not a selling club. I can't see them selling him. I don't know. Who else is there? Martinez earlier on in the season went to AC Milan, but again, a bit too old to bring in for the sort of money that was being asked. It's kind of Benzema or bust at the moment. If it's not Benzema, I can't see whichever striker we can go out there and get, because there's such a lack of world-class strikers available right now. But anyway, listen, let's look forward to the game. Let's hope that our strikers out there today show us that we don't even need him by scoring a hatful of goals. Thanks for watching AFTV Transfer Daily. If you're coming down to the game today, don't forget to come and check us out for an interview.